questioned Paul. Must have been a strategy, whispered courtroom observers. A way to show the jury that Paul could, in fact, interact well with a woman. But those observers were mistaken, said Garagos.
Well, I generally, I don't think direct examination is my strong suit, and I was concentrating on cross-examination of the witnesses.
So Paul Zumwalt looked the jurors in the eye and told them, I did not kill Jennifer Skipsey, did not burn the house. And then he told them, emotions building to a fever pitch, how, despite their roller coaster relationship, he truly loved Jennifer. His lawyer presented a love letter, in fact, that she'd written to him, and he broke down then, flood of tears.
I was so relieved, and I thought, you know, if there was any way this jury thought this man was responsible for this, now they know for sure that he's not, because it's so obvious to me that he's telling the truth.
But listening to all of this with his experienced ear was Prosecutor Gillingham. You must have been rather pleased when you heard he was going to testify.
I think that's an understatement. I was very, very pleased.
More than that, it was a gift, said Gillingham, an unexpected opportunity. Why? Well, the prosecutor had Paul right where he wanted him for as long as he wanted him. There were hours of questions, tough questions, baiting questions, questions designed to make Paul crack and reveal what Gillingham believed to be a controlling personality and a red-hot temper.
My plan was to go through how he acted when he was angry, and then ask him questions that he could have no good answers for. For instance, why all those text messages are deleted. And those are questions he could not answer because he had not considered those questions.
After 3 long days in the hot seat, Paul Zumwalt's testimony was finally over. Had he persuaded the jurors that he was innocent? Do you feel he got a little bit chippy or arrogant on the stand?
I don't think that he got arrogant, but I think clearly he was tired, he was exasperated. He wanted to tell his story. He was being cut off.
But the jurors, once they got the case, said they were determined to look at the evidence, not just courtroom theater.
Everyone was very committed to going over the evidence and discussing each of the witnesses and each of the crucial pieces of evidence. It was really encouraging.
And it was crucial they decided to compare very carefully the different timelines claimed by the prosecution and the defense.
So we analyzed the timeline for the entire day, from his testimony where he said he was, and then other pieces of testimony and evidence to either validate or contradict.
The jury took less than 14 hours and came back with a verdict. Guilty.
All I remember was I heard that word guilty, man. It was just like this relief, this release of tension.
I was very shocked by the verdict. I think a lot of people were shocked by the verdict because, I mean, if you sat through the weeks and weeks of trial, it's inconceivable how they could get to the result that they got to.
But to the jurors, the issues about text messages and whether Paul had Jennifer's phone all afternoon wasn't as important as Zumwalt on the stand. That's what made the difference. His tears, for example?
Sometimes I feel like I'm too cynical, but it was universally held opinion, I think. The entire jury believed that it was a manufactured moment.
What was the problem with his testimony?
There were 2 things that struck me. One was when he broke down on the stand. And to me, it didn't seem genuine. And the other portion of his testimony was when he had the opportunity to tell us where he was and what he was doing, he chose to basically lie to us 3 times. And we were able to prove that he lied to us by the hard evidence that we had with the phone records and with the video surveillance and those items. And to me, that hurt him very badly.
If he hadn't testified, I can't say for sure, but I don't think I could have convicted him.
At his sentencing, an angry Paul Zumwalt again protested his innocence. But he was sent away for 25 to life for murder, plus 8 years for arson. Today, the Palo Alto cottage has been repaired. New love, perhaps, growing in there. The young people still come to the cafe to socialize and smoke hookah. His brother runs the place now. And Paul, gone. like the romance that burned too bright before it vanished with its victim in a cloud of smoke.
And I can still hear her voice, see her smile. I know she's here.
That's all for this edition of Dateline on OWN. I'm Tamron Hall. Thank you for watching. Her name is Pepper.
I lived a secret life.
She was kidnapped at age 4.
We got in the car and we never went back.
She spent decades trying to find her way home again and finally made it. Or so she thought.
I said, I think I'm Rhonda Christie, or do you know Rhonda Patricia Christie? And then there was a long pause. A picture of my parents.
Pepper's story had many ups and downs.
99.99%. When I looked at the email, I just couldn't even believe it.
But after so many tears, so many years, and so many turns in her story, I was like, whoa, there are still more stunning twists to be revealed. It's amazing. It's the best gift ever.
Hello, I'm Tamron Hall, and welcome to Dateline on OWN. A young girl was abducted at the age of 4 and raised by a kidnapper. For the next 4 decades, she searched for her family, her name,
you're okay,
and
buddy.
herself. Her story has an extraordinary ending, and as it turns out, the ending was just the beginning.
She's just having a bad dream, buddy. Just having a
Our
bad
story
dream.
begins with this mother of teenage daughters. A woman had spent most of her life trying to figure out who she was. What was her name? Where did she come from?